Welcome in, everybody. Episode number 19 of the Motorsports Almanac. We're going across the pond tonight. Mr. Sascha Mecking taking the time to stay up super late with us. Thank you so much for doing that. And we're really excited to jump into all of this.
Yeah, very welcome. And good evening or good morning from Germany. Thanks
What
for having
time
me.
is it there?
2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad.
No.
Wyatt, what's going on, buddy?
Well, at least my brain can take a break from college final exams now.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. A lot has happened and a lot's going on. So, Sasha, let's just jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had your first big event of the year with the Eurocup in Germany this past weekend. Kind of tell us a little bit about what you saw there, what's happening on the European scene.
What happened? You're frozen. Oh, yeah, now you're back. Well, it was a pretty good event. We were lucky to have decent weather finally. Place was still a bit wet when we arrived, but got better. Then we had a lot of new tractors. Some of those you can already see in the background there. Was first round for the German championship. First round for 3 of the Eurocup classes. Track was Saturday first show. Bit of an issue because we had the mix of sunshine and rain all through the day, and at one point during the light modifieds, the track or the starting line actually went away. So that as soon as the sun came back out, it got a little better, but they still, regardless, ripped it open after the class, and for the next classes was good again. Was a bit of a poor competition in the Unlimiteds because 2 guys couldn't get there because they were too busy at work. Then the French turbine guys had their starter engine broken, which is actually used to start both of their tractors. So in the pull-off, both were out. Yeah, and it was when as the track then was right, it was very grippy and everybody was fighting with front end weight. Then we had the new Green Fighter coming out. They had did a decent job considering the fact they had the geometry in their throttle linkage totally off because somebody put it in upside down and nobody figured it out. As soon as the engines pulled vacuum and on the butterflies, they couldn't open them completely. And yeah, still third place, which is not too bad for a first run.
No. Do you see a lot of potential for them to be the number 1 tractor over there in that class?
I'm not sure they're going to be number 1, but they'll be right there. They lacked about 1,000 RPM. And quite a bit.
Is that because of the throttle issues, or is it just?
Yeah, imagine you go 60% throttle and then still come in third.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you talked about having so many of the new vehicles there. I actually uploaded the full overlay, so it's going to pop up on the screen there. If you want to talk about the ones that are in there, of course, up here in the top left is actually the Green Fighter you were talking about.
Exactly, yeah. I think we had that pretty much covered on pull-off. So it's basically wedge chassis with 3 Ellison engines, with homemade superchargers, EFI systems. I think the final weight now, it will be able to run unlimited in the States if it ever has to. And the next one, the blue, black, red one is Rot Leuf, which means red lion from Luxembourg. It's 5,500 pound light modified with a Curtiss-Wright radial. Then next to it, with the 4 turbines, is Erlkönig, which I don't know how to translate. It's the name out of a poem. It's got 4 1,500 horsepower isoturf turbines, and it's running the modified class here in the national circuit, which you could compare to what is like a state level in the States. And next to it is actually not a new tractor, but it's got a new owner. This is Rising Star. They have 4 turbines, which depending on how you run them are, some say they will make more than 2,500 each. Officially, they're 2,250 each. Then bottom left, this is Ulrich Kropp with a new tractor. He's been pulling since I think 79 or 80 or something. Started with small block Chevys. And in 86 had one of the first Griffin power tractors that could run in the 7,000 modified class. Then he had a twin Griffin in the late 80s, 90s, and he sold that 12, 13 years ago. And he's now retired by the age of 63 and decided he's going to go back into it. So he put 2 griffins in the 7 mod, and yeah, let's see how that will go. Then that's me. I'm not new. And bottom right is the new Gators. They built a complete new tractor this winter. It's twin Rover Meteor. The Rover Meteor is actually a naturally aspirated version of the Rolls-Royce Merlin that they built for tanks, and he's got 2 of those, and he put, I think, 1871 blowers on there, and yep, and also running that at the 5,500 pounds, and that thing ran until it had a backfire and basically grenaded the intake manifold of the left engine, but that was already at first place distance. Yep.
Yeah, that was the one that I whenever I was watching on Saturday, that was the one that stuck out the most, because the Bollinger team here, you guys have kind of touched on the Floating Finish podcast. Not that I understood what it was saying because I didn't turn on their subtitles, but isn't that pretty similar to what they're going to be running here?
Yes.
In the unlimited class?
Yes, I think Bollingers are still trying to figure out how it's all going to work, and I'm not sure what kind of blowers or how new the blowers are that they got on there, what stage they are, what the Gators has got on there is best you can buy at the moment, I think. He wants to win badly.
Bollingers too?
Yes, they will in the future, I guess. Yeah. But when you build something, the first time Gators came out with those blown Rover Meteors, I think by 20 feet, he had all rods out. So he said there's 270 billet parts in those engines that are not stock.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. That's incredible.
They own a CNC shop, so they basically
how much of it is homemade.
Yeah, they kind of took this Rover engine, and then I think except for the block on the heads, there's not much stock on them.
Wow, that's awesome. That's one of the things that I've really fallen in love with as far as European pulling goes, is specifically in the modified classes, because of the variety that you see there, whether it be the light class or the unlimited class. It's just something we don't get to see here, and I really wish that we could.
Yeah, drag racing here is not very big, so there's, and we used to have car tax by cubic inches. So every manufacturer tried to make the engines as small as possible and as powerful as possible, just to be cheaper on tax. So V8 engines never been much of a thing here. And so like a Chevy or Ford V8 are not common. Sure, you do find them somewhere, but the knowledge is just not there. And so people went out on the junkyards and tried to get what they could to build tractors. And surprisingly, some things did work out quite well.
Yeah, they did. Do you guys ever measure how fast they're going there on the sleds?
I think they do, but I doubt it'll be any different than what you guys do.
Well, I was really curious to know what the Gator was from whenever it had its first run, because he let out of it, and I still didn't think he was going to stop.
Yeah, that was impressive. Yeah. Well, actually, there's some tractors. Last year, he was, of course, he had Firestone tires on there, and the engines in the older tractor were a bit further back, so he had some front end weight issues. He said he would have gotten those when he put Meters tires on. So that the Green Monster, the Meters Monster, is and the tractor of the Burrs, and so they were in the same ballpark. But yeah, Meters had new tires on that didn't work out yet. Still need to be run in and stretched and whatever. And yeah, but it's going to be a close championship this year again. Yeah,
that's really exciting to see. Another thing that I noticed, though, too, just watching, is the tires and how different they look compared to here. And that was one of the things that I was popping up on the screen with the way that they are cut and how many cuts there actually are with the amount of lugs that are in the tires.
Yeah, that depends on the classes and what kind of engines you run. Some cuts work better with a different engine combination, because some engines are more for torque, others more for speed, and they're still working on And the angles, different angles, still testing out a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
at the moment, it's like you need a different cut or different shaped tire like every year.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the theme going on over here too. I mean, it's always that there's some sort of new tire technology that's come out. And I mean, really and truly, the Mitas tire still hasn't been. I don't know how to word it correctly. Like, I don't guess
It's not accepted.
Okay, yeah, that's why I was going to word it. I was just trying to find a more polite way to put it.
It's all dependent on perspective and how your association goes about it.
Yeah, but I think for unlimited modified, there's not many running Firestones anymore, is there?
No, unlimited modified the same way. You'll see Mitas more or less in the heavy alcohol super stocks, not much in any lighter diesel.
Yeah, because I know, who was it, Wyatt, that was running the Mitas tires whenever they were first coming out? I think it was Blake Graves, wasn't it?
Blake Graves tried at the Polar Championship the first year on the diesel super stock, and they got rid of them as fast as they got them.
Sure did, yeah.
Then they tried it at multiple polls, couldn't figure them out, didn't like them, went back to Firestones, went back to what they know, and started competing right at the top again. And even started trickling down into different classes too. I mean, Pro Stocks at the time, they first debuted at the truck show with Moss and Rob Russell had them on it first.
Mm-hmm.
At the very beginning, it wasn't accepted. People were just not. I think that's one thing over here that's completely different than Germany or the Eurocup in general. Over here, it changes hard for a lot of pullers. They don't like to change. So, and I think that was one big thing. But now it's more, people are a lot more adapted to it, especially the Pro Stock class. If you don't have a set of Mitas tires on a Pro Stock, you're basically one of those state runners that never gets out.
Yeah. I mean, we had what people have to realize. Mitas made several different versions in the beginning. I think they make like 2 or 3 different versions until they thought they had it figured out. And I know a lot of the early tires that were made, but nobody wanted to use here anymore, went stateside. So I'm not sure what they got on there. So, and actually it was actually the Green Monster with the Mitas Monster. They were the first who said, okay, we gonna work with this tire and make it work. Part of the story is Mitas is their sponsor, and they got it to work after a while. And then there was a funny, or not funny, actually the Triple Ellison, when it got the Mitas on, started to win. It was unbelievable how that Triple Ellison with standard blowers was actually putting 20, 30 feet on 4 Hemis at the time. And then we had Ahoy, where Joe Eder came over. He was on Firestone. All the Europeans were on Mitas, and I think they left him in the dust by 10, 15, 20 feet. And then he got a set from here, brought them over, and went to Tomaha with it. Mm-hmm. That's when he went out the door. They made the sled heavier, and everybody else went 250.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that very distinctly. Yeah. What happened to that pull in Ahoy? Why did they quit having that one?
Lack of interest.
Really? Yeah. Was it lack of interest from the fans, the committee, or the fans?
No, the fans. Yeah. And the stadium got more and more expensive. And back in the day when we didn't have the Eurocup, we only had what they called the European Championships, which they held once a year. And there was the Ahoy Pole. And those were the only 2 events where you could see tractors from different nations really compete with each other. So that was a big thing. That was going to Louisville. But then we got the Eurocup, and all of a sudden you could see all the top guys within. You always, if you want to drive 5 hours, you can see them 2 or 3 times a year, and that kind of took the specialty of Ahoy away, and it just went downhill from there.
Yeah, I mean,
then the other thing was we always got an American tractor that really put it on the Europeans badly, and as soon as that changed and the Americans stopped winning, and then for a while it was quite interesting to see a competition, and then the last couple of years some of the Americans got beaten pretty badly, and then that novelty was gone also. And then we had another bigger indoor pole for a while that hurt it too, but that went downhill too. And at the moment, there's only one indoor in the Netherlands, which is actually not even in It's actually an industrial building, not really
It's like a
stadium.
pavilion, sort of, where it's out.
Yeah, they actually add some they add some like 30 feet to the building to get the sled in there. So that's putting, yeah.
Now,
but that's too small. They sell out within a couple of days.
How many people did that place hold?
I would think like 3,500 or so, that range. It's not much.
Yeah. So what's the average attendance that you'll see at an outdoor hook?
Depends.
Like whenever you were in Germany this past weekend, what was your big that you saw there?
Fichtdorf was big attendance-wise. I think they said they had over, I would think like 25,000 people over the weekend.
Oh my word.
So the stadium capacity is, I would think 17. And it was pretty full.
Wow.
And Saturday was not as crowded as Sunday, but that's always the case there because the Saturday used to be kind of the farm stock day, and they've just slowly turned this around to be a full show. But it still was, I would think, 10,000, 12,000 on Saturday.
The fan engagement of polls, especially Fichtdorf, it's astonishing to see compared to here. The fan engagement here, and I love the polls over here. Fan engagement here is not there. It's nothing like what you guys have. Nothing. I mean, Bowling Green, maybe.
Oh, Bowling Green goes absolutely crazy, dude.
Yeah.
But anything else, really? Toma's not there. Rockwell, definitely not there. Chapel Hill, for the locals, yes, but for like a nationwide event, it's nothing like what the Eurocup has.
That really depends where you are. I mean, Fichtdorf is a big pool. It's an old pool. They're pulling not in that location, but in that area since 78 or something. And that was not 78. Must have been 1980s, actually, when they had the first pool next town. And then they moved to that current location in 85. And it's always been a top-notch organized event. Always had good competition there. And it's always the first pull of the year also because it's so early. And that's when fans come out and want to see something because that's the first big outdoor pull of the year where they can go. And it's pretty central located in the heartland of the tractor pulls here. So that's why they always have a good crowd. And yeah, and they actually have a problem that they have too many people. They're only fighting to get more space. And some people say just make the entrance fee higher, just people to have to pay more at the gate. But the old guy always says, I need the kids here, I need the families here, so I don't want to go crazy with the gate admission. And they actually made what they made this year. That when you saw the grandstand at the end of the track, you could only get in there when you were a family and you had kids with you. So it was kids area only.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah, he said that's our future.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
if I take $40 at the gate, we don't have any family. So it was 28 for the Sunday and 20 for Saturday or something like that.
Is that 24 per person or for the family?
Per person, but I think kids are like up to 12 are free and 16 is also 10 or something.
Yeah.
So we make sure that the prices for the kids are cheap and yeah.
And you also, and I were go ahead.
Yeah, and I said also the prices for beer and drinks is super cheap. I think it was $3 for a bottle of beer in that level.
Whew.
Yeah,
that is cheap. But yeah, that was kind of something that you and I were talking about beforehand, is the presentation of European pulling compared to American pulling, right? And you talk about like how the promoters there and the promoters here see it as well, but we're kind of finding some other things right now too, to where closing it off and making it really niche to see, and we're already a niche sport here.
Mm-hmm. So
you guys are just so open, and your demographic is so much wider there than it is for us here.
You mean like age-wise?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot of young, but that's also coming from, as I said, having the families there, having the kids there. Then, especially Germany, we worked really, really hard the last 20 years to get new people into the sport and young people into the sport. We made limited classes and we made sure they're cheap and still put on a show. So we came up with air restrictor limits, and it's not expensive to build. Like the first class that we ran on Saturday, you can build a tractor for that class. They'll make like 900 horsepower, and you can get one for $25,000. That'll run competitive.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of young farm kids and farm mechanics and so on jumped on and started competing. And then we started to grow it up. And before we allowed them to make more power, we said, hey, we have to keep this entry-level stuff cheap. And then we allowed them. We didn't lower the limit. We made another class with a higher limit. So and gave them more money. So the guys that had run this class for 5-6 years said, okay, we're going to move up a class. And that's one of the toughest thing in tractor pulling that I've seen. Make people move up a class, go from pro stock to super stock, or go from light modified to wherever and heavy modified. People always like to stretch the limits and run with of their own class. Like pro stock in the States started cheap, and now it's one of the most expensive classes. That was never the intention of the class.
No, it really was. I mean,
I
think that is where the 5.0 class for us is going to come into play.
Exactly.
It's probably keeping that cost down for now, because with the box charger rule especially.
Yeah.
Because everybody gets their turbo from one manufacturer.
Hopefully. But
that's the goal.
We watched all this. I followed the discussion with the box turbo back in Outlaws when Roberts was having this dyno runs and all this discussion. And I said, why? And then in the end, people started to cheat on those also. We said, we make a hole this big. Then I got an engineer for flows and said, do me a hole with a shape that will let that much air through and not more. And he made that, and everybody has to run this little restrictor plate. It's not a restrictor plate, it's a shape about this long with a certain shape inside, and that will just kill the flow at a certain point. So they all get to work with the same air. Yes, there's progress in the class. Yes, they start working with pumps, but they already figured out, hey, more than a 30 millimeter P is not really helping because we're getting too fast. Turbochargers, doesn't make any sense to put anything better on there than what you can get from a good, well-sized semi. If you get a kind of up-to-date wholesale or whatever, you're there. Yes, and they play with tires, of course. But everything else. And the good thing about that is you build a tractor that's halfway competitive, and 10 years later, that thing is still competitive and still worth money. So a lot of teams built their first tractor, and they could still sell it for good money 10 years later. That worked out well. And that's how we got young teams in the sport here. And now we did the same with what you probably saw was our limited modified that works with the same system. Got air restrictors. And at the moment, they just put truck diesels on and have fun. But that's young guys. They're in their 20s. Most of them.
I mean, it's something that needs to be, that we need to see here, because, I mean, there's just not many young ones that do it.
No. And the other thing was...
I was just going to say, take, for example, our unlimited class. I don't know if any of them are younger than 50 or even 60, some of them, because...
Yeah, but that takes money.
Right, true. But then you have, like, Adam Bauer is probably youngest, and he's in his 40s.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, if you want to have people that spend money, you have to get them hooked first. It's not like you can wait for people that have money and decide all of a sudden they want to go to win a tractor pull. And then we had some of those, and they started, and then they just ruined everything within 3 years and spent hundred thousands, and still couldn't get it to work because they didn't know the basics.
Right. I mean, what's the class that probably has the youngest demographic here? Would you say it?
Hot Farm.
Minis?
Hot Farm.
Hot Farm. Okay.
Hot Farm, easily. It's a base cubic inch limit that dang near anybody can go by. Yeah. Most guys, whether it's Hartz, Weimer, Apex, anybody is going to have that same 304 turbocharger. 20.8s, you really can't play with them much. 9,500 pounds, which you don't have to cut much weight out at all of them. And you can go compete anywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same idea. Yeah. And the other thing that what I just got in my head, when we got those Hot Farm guys, all of a sudden our pits were full with people in their 20s and early 30s. Loud music, lots of alcohol in the night, party on, no sleep. The old guys, Jesus, did they bitch. But within 5 years, 6 years, the younger guys had the majority in the pits. And now the old guys go sleep somewhere else if they don't want to party. And yep. But that then, like, this whole mood in the pits attracted so many younger folks because our pits are open and a lot of fans come in and they party with the teams. And it's like, yeah, like camping in Bowling Green. But I always keep saying, once they start figuring out that it's not worth going out anymore, when you're mid-20s, late 20s, because you don't like the music anymore, that's when they start coming to the tractor pulls and figure out, hey, we can have a good time here.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. So what does advertising for a pull look like there? I know here we're really trying to utilize social media the best we can. It seems like every pull now has their own Facebook page, whether it's ran by somebody or if they run it themselves.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Facebook is for old people like me. If you look at the demographics of Facebook, that's for people 40 plus. If you want to have young people, you need to be on TikTok, Instagram, and I can't handle those either, but that's where the young people come. That's where you get them.
Do you guys utilize any like physical promotions at all, like flyers, handouts?
Flyers, posters, road signs, you name it. But that depends on the promoter. It's all up to the individual promoter. Everybody does his thing. What they almost don't do anymore is radio. Newspapers is getting less.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was younger, we had these newspapers that people get for free, that everybody stuffs in your mailbox, and where you could pay for an advertisement or an article, and gone, done. I remember when we started advertising on Facebook, but that's like 15 years ago, and all of a sudden we had like 2,000 people more than before. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that the main thing at the moment is not to get the word out, but make the people come back
and bring their friends whenever they come back.
Yeah, let's make sure they have a good time. Make sure they stay hooked to the sport and don't see it as the traveling circus that comes to town once a year and I go watch every 3 years. But I want to follow the championship. I want to, see what they do next weekend and give them the possibility to do that. Part of the reason why we do most of our live streams for free.
Yeah. Now, how are you guys able to do that? That's really, because I mean. It's not cheap in the slightest, right?
Well, part of the reason is, or part of the reason why we can do this, because I was so stupid to start this and put a lot of money into this and a lot of effort. And I struggled in the beginning because I saw from America people could, get the costs out and almost make a living if they had a good YouTube channel, and this almost was a job. But here in Germany, nobody wants to pay for TV. So when we had one poll who said, I want this live stream out on YouTube for free. I said, music. He said, I won't play music. Okay. So we did that last year, May, and we had 38,000 people watching the live stream. We're like, holy.
Okay.
And then, and now we are talking something else. And I did the same thing last week, and I had a pay-per-view stream because they don't care about getting more people. They don't want an advertisement. But
it's already established. They know what weekend it is. So
yeah, that's no joke.
And anyhow, I had 1 hour and 20 minutes on YouTube, free to watch. That's over 30. I think it's 40,000 people now who watch that. Just 1 hour. And it was not a good class. It was limited modified. It's very basic stuff. Wow. So, and when you get into those numbers, then we're getting to the point where you can go to a sponsor and say, hey, I got 40,000 viewers on this. Do you want to be on this? So what we do is we do advertising in the streams. And what I do as a production company, I go to the promoter and say, hey, you want a live stream or not? Actually, I don't go there anymore. They come to me. And I said, this is what it costs. And I have different levels from let's say 2 cameras and 1 commentary up to 7 with 2 commentaries and drone or whatever. And then we do what they can fit into their budget and what they can get sponsorship money for. period. But that's the best promotion I've ever seen for polls. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Because we need to bring this, especially what you said about the young people. We need to bring it out to them. They are looking on their phones all day. If we are not on their phones, we don't exist.
Yeah. And to bring it to your point now, like that makes me even more curious, like how many of the quote unquote independent media people will you see at a poll as far as taking video and photos? Is it fairly full or is it kind of sparse?
Depends on the size of the event, depends on the country. Like what I did, I hired most of the independent media people to work for me. That was because I needed help.
Yeah.
But I think we have like 5-6 photographers here in Germany and 2-3 video guys. And yeah, that's the same in every country.
Yeah. But you guys aren't closed off if someone wants to come in and be like, hey, I want to shoot these videos.
No, well, we need the promotion. Jesus, no. We have like Mr. Joe's YouTube channel and some others that are pretty big. Some focus more on the farm stock side of things. Heck, they bring the name out. People need to know the sport. You know, when I was like 20 years ago, you had to explain what tractor pulling is. That's over. People know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
For in Europe, you mean?
In my area, I cannot speak for whole Europe. I mean,
yeah, here
Europe has twice as many people as America, so difficult to talk about that.
I was just going to say that if I go to any of my friends or any of the people local, I'm in a very agricultural-based area of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to hit that agricultural or farmer to actually know what it is, anybody else, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of what we've been trying to do with our page and videos in particular is by covering the other sports that are big here too, but bringing tractor pulling along with it with drag racing, because I mean, drag racing is one of the biggest sports here, if not the biggest, right?
And well, anything automotive motorsport is way bigger than pulling over here, because you go on, for example, you go on YouTube, you can in about 10 seconds, you can basically find somebody that has a YouTube channel that's about a car or working on a car or a racer or anything.
Yeah, the thing though is, as the same as you, I'm in an agricultural area. There's no racetracks here. Well, I don't know how many pulls within 50 miles here, because that's what people can do. In the low level, you just take a field and start a pull, and that's what they do. And drag racing is not big here. We got one big drag strip down south, but everything else. Now, if people want to have, who's got the fastest car, they just go on the autobahn, and who hits 200 miles first is the winner, and not going a quarter mile. That makes no sense for them.
One of our viewers asked a question. He said, "But if you live stream, doesn't that take away from the gate and concessions, etc.?"
No, it may. But the benefit you get, as I said, you have a poll with maybe 10,000 people, and you got 30,000 on the live stream. So how much did that take away? And how much are coming next year? And the point is not how much is that for my event, but on how much does it benefit the sport. So like when I have a live stream from like Fischdorf and I had 30,000 people there, they're going to hit the like on the YouTube channel. They're going to follow the channel. They see our web show every week, and we tell them where the next pull is. That's the
exactly.
And the main thing is, people, as I said before, if you present yourself as the traveling circus that comes to town once a year, then people will not take it seriously, and they will not follow. How often did I have the situation in the pits with my tractor when it broke, and they come out and say, "Hey, are you able to fix it for next year? I need to have it fixed next week." What? There's more of this? Yes. This is a point series.
Yeah. So it needs to be, the horizons need to be broadened and not shut off.
I keep saying you need to train the people to understand what they are looking at. That's like football. Everybody, the kids that have played football, they'll watch football later on because they understand the rules, they understand the tactics.
Are we referring to football?
It doesn't matter.
Regardless.
I'm just trying to think.
In general.
In general, or any other sport. You know, there's 100,000 experts sitting at a football game. They all know better than the coach. We have to do this. Have to do the same thing in polls. We have to make them experts. Like last weekend on our live stream, we were not about who's from here. During the Superstar class, we were discussing the different tires and how this affected the runs and how the Firestone guys didn't need that much weight on the nose and could get down that tough track, and the Vitas guys were all nose up and so on and so forth. So that's the thing that we try to teach them. So we're trying to make experts. And as I said, we reach so many new people on YouTube that have never heard about the sport or have heard about it and don't know where it is, and maybe seen it on TV. And then, but where do I find the events? You, as a promoter with posters and with a little bit of social media, have no chance to reach those people. And YouTube is funny because YouTube, when you start a stream, YouTube checks how many people watch this video and do not shut it off when we start to advertise. Of course, the people that watch the Tractor Pull stream, especially your close fans, they stick to it like a magnet. They want to see it. And they watch through the advertisement. And then YouTube says, this is good. I can sell advertisement. And then YouTube figures out what kind of people are watching. What have they watched in the past? And then YouTube starts promoting your stream to the people that have a similar watch history than those people that are watching. So they try to hit exactly the demographics that we need to hit. And that's,
My mind just got blown a little bit, I think, on that one.
I had to learn all this in the last 2 years.
It's something that really blows your mind. It's just something you got to learn.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated to learn.
So, and the other thing I've seen, we have many of them like the Nürburgring or most of the big motorsport series. They used to have their pay-per-view channels. Stopping it. They all go on YouTube.
Everybody's going to the YouTube now.
Yeah. Even all of the touring car stuff in here, they go on YouTube. They're done away with. It's not worth it.
Yeah. We have another
pay-per-view. I mean, I've seen numbers, and sometimes you have some events, especially in the winter, like big indoor polls where pay-per-view as a promoter makes sense. Outdoor stuff, there's so much going on in summer. Forget it.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Yeah, we have a.
Let's turn into actual polling. Let's go with this YouTube stuff.
I'm intrigued.
Well, let's talk about.
I've got time.
Yeah, a lot of people want to know like the differences and similarities of polling between here and there.
Yeah, I can see a question here. What are the classes that are the most alike between Europe and the US? So most alike is Superstock, except that we do not have the V8 engines from the articulated tractors. It's only inline 6. Mini rods are pretty close. Ours are unlimited because they wanted to have the V12s in there.
How does that work?
Like unlimited mini rods?
Does it work well for them?
In the end, it just means that the V8 guys run 1871 blowers.
They can run, because there was a question on Pull Off about that. They can run 1871s, and then they can run twin mags, correct?
Yeah, also, yeah. Okay. They can do whatever they like in mini rod. Modified here.
Is there any weight difference from our minis to yours? Because ours are.
I think ours are. That's more because of the conversion from lips to from
right.
kilos. I think there's like 50. Let it be 30 lips or something. It's 30 pounds. That's not worth mentioning, I guess.
Right.
No.
They all run the same chassis. They run the same rear ends. They run the same gearboxes, and they all run a Hemi when they are on the top. And it's just a matter of the size of blower.
Yeah,
everything is there. That you can put them right on the same track. So modifieds here. We are still on this old, basically 579 system with limits, and they did the limits to keep the V12s and the variety alive. But our limit system works with points. Every engine every 3 years is given a certain amount of points, and there is a maximum number of points you can have in your weight class. And like when the V8s start to dominate, they take some blower overdrive away from them or give them more points, and they have to take an engine off. So they try to equal that out. And the other thing is they also have what they call a weight compensation. So if like single engine tractors and light modified are allowed to have, I think, 400 pounds more. That's also with the points. If you're below a certain number of points, you get more front end weight. It doesn't make you win, but it gets the competition closer together.
Yeah, weight.
Yeah. Then Pro Stock here, totally different. 510, 7,700 pounds.
You're somewhat close to our light Pro Stock, what it's becoming now, being that it's 8,500 at 540.
Screenshot off. Yeah, your light Pro Stock is pretty similar. What happened here? Oh, whatever.
Component chassis are allowed there too, aren't they?
Probably power saving mode or whatever.
Probably.
It's still alive. No signal. Okay, yeah, power saving.
Mostly everything over there is component, though, isn't it? For
every
even our hot farms are component now. That's at least not the lowest level, but the upper level of hot farm.
The super sports.
They went component like 4 years ago or 5 years.
We are so behind.
Why is that behind? I was totally against that, because when we started this hot farm stuff, or actually put the hot farm stuff on the European level like 15 years ago, they were crying that they couldn't afford to run a Pro Stock, and now they're spending more money on the hot farms than people do on Pro Stocks. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was thinking was the component chassis aspect, though, because of having to actually find the parts for an ag chassis here still.
Yeah, that was.
And there with the component chassis, it's built once, and you're a lot more versatile with that. From the way I see it.
Funny thing, they said exactly that. If we build a component chassis, it'll be easier for us to go into Pro Stocks after that.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're discussing billet hats in hot farm.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Enough of that. What other classes we got? The garden tractors, I think, are pretty similar. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got a question about two-wheel drives are not very common.
Mm-mm.
Over here, you can throw a rock and hit one.
Yeah, because everybody has a V8 car at home and can go a truck and can kind of relate to that. For us, it's all alien. That would be like you doing a class with Volkswagen Rabbits. So,
Yeah.
No connection.
See, now that's where we do have connection here, is with the two-wheel drive class mainly.
Yeah.
Between that and I think the two biggest crossover classes we have are the mods in the minis and probably the two-wheelers after that.
Yeah.
Maybe in a different order.
And super stock. That's, as I said, I think the super stocks are pretty much the same.
Yeah. Well, the two-wheel drive, I mean, everybody can kind of relate to the different body types that are ran. To like, and that was something that me and a couple of my friends have discussed before, is like everybody can relate like that to that in drag racing, like, oh, the Corvette bodies, the Camaro bodies, stuff like that. Just off the top of my head. And in pulling, it's kind of becoming the same way, because I mean the C10 is really popular, and I mean the old van body styles that the Nelson brought over here. Do what?
The old body styles are cooler.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Corzine's body style is absolutely gorgeous on their truck.
There's multiple like that. But...
yeah, nah. There's just not one that hits like their red does, though. That red's absolutely gorgeous.
But some people, or a lot of people here, do not like two-wheel drives because there's like no variety. And they hate that. It's just the bodies, and they say, okay, this is a little modified with a plastic body. What's the point here? And all the same engine. That's not where they come and see. They want to see stuff like the Gators. They want to see the radials, and even if they don't win, that's what I want to see, because that's something you can't see anywhere else.
Yep,
that's totally unique about tractor pulling here.
So how do we bring that over here, do you think, and
You
open
do
up the
have
Variety?
that. I mean, you got the radio reactor up in New York State there,
Maryland,
for
yeah.
example. Yeah, or Maryland, whatever.
You tell NTPA or the PPL to actually open it up and let them compete and win. That's what
Yeah.
everybody's doing. And this might be a little ramble session here, but they don't want them to win because they're like, oh, it'll piss off the Hemi guys.
Yeah, but then they should not be complaining about empty stands. Point.
Yep.
Period. Then
Parity
they
is
have to
always
pay.
good. That's why.
Then they have no spectators, no sponsors, and they have to pay the stuff on their own. That's how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, here in the top, you have to pay your stuff also on your own, but there's a lot of backup from sponsors, and there's decent money made.
So do you think
it's still a loss, but it's not as bad as in the States.
Do you think the variety that comes with polling over there brings the sponsors as well, just because the variety they get to see?
The sponsors come with the number of spectators in the stands and the VIP treatment they get. You give them for their guests, but sponsors want to see numbers.
Right.
That's exactly right. Man, we've got a few comments here.
Talk
Cody
about
said
modding.
maids on the list. We want to know what maids like, please. It's a
Mad
bucket
is
list
how it's
show right
pronounced.
there.
Yeah, Mad is.
It's insane.
It's huge. I remember going to that pool about 20 years ago when it was still a little single track backwater, whatever pool, with stock tractors. And it's two brothers actually running the show, and they are hardcore tractor pulling fans. One of them is the announcer. And somehow they figured out how to sell a lot of beer and pour all the profit back into the event. So any money they make, they put back into the event because they just like it. And they have grown this so big. So it's like 3 days, 3 tracks. The reason why it's 3 tracks is they still don't want to kick out the little associations that they started with. So they get the 3rd track next to the beer tent where people are more about beer drinking and not about pulling. But they still, and it's the other thing they had, the northern Netherlands is very religious, and Maat is in the southern part of the Netherlands, and the northern Dutch guys do not pull Sundays. So Maat had the problem. They had a good pull on Saturday, but Sunday, which was their main day, they didn't have the good tractors. So they came up with the idea of running Eurocup tractors from the rest of Europe. Yeah, and super nice people, it's a blast. That's the biggest pull here. So what is it like? Yeah, it's just a fucking big party.
Yeah, a couple of our guys will be pulling over there this year. The Kale family was spending their inheritance mini. I'll be really curious to see how they do. And then Hans Boxler from New York is coming over with the special Diesel Super.
Yeah, that's exactly what is happening. As I said, the two brothers, they are fans of the sport. It's like they got the general over. They made Gardner Stone come over and bring the tractor because that was something they saw when they were young, and they wanted to see that tractor again. So Gardner Stone had to come over again, and they had Pro Stock there from John Deere, and they always try to bring some special attraction.
Yeah,
it's a blast. It's a pull made by pulling fans for pullers, and it's a huge organization there.
They refer it to over here as a party with a pole on the side.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's how they made their money in the beginning too. That party tent they got there, I think it'll hold a couple thousand people. It's unbelievable.
Now, and I think that's what we need to take a note on is the entertainment aspect. The entertainment aspect for you is much higher than is over here.
Young people, as I said.
Right, and most of the time promoters just bank on the pull itself as a show, and they don't consider anything else.
That's not where the money is. We have this. I remember one little farm stock pull here when we start getting the younger people, and they started to party in the piss. Then one year the promoter put up a tent for them to have a party, got a DJ, and then he let the kids from town in. Now 10 years later, the whole youth of the area comes to that party tent, and they come for the party, but to get into the party tent, they have to pay admission, and they have to watch 2 hours of tractor pulling because we start the party a little later. So that's they come there thinking the party starts at 8. Oh damn, starts at 10. What do we do for the next 2 hours? Oh, watch tractor pulling. What is this? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So now,
all that
like,
comes
is
over.
entertainment, like, are they well-known artists for where you guys are?
No,
Or
just
okay.
mostly DJs. Mad is a different story. They do sometimes have some, let's say B promis, mid-level. I don't know. Different music scene there. Not my style.
Yeah. Mr. Russell said 4-1 is probably where the young ones are in Outlaw. Light limited mods are the best class because of the wide range of power plants. Yeah, that's the thing the Outlaws
Exactly
got,
that.
light limited mod class. I mean,
Yeah,
dang,
see,
they're
that's a class with young people. That was super smart.
Yeah.
The light limited mods, that's young guys like Blake and his buddies there
Gage.
around the Audit family. Yeah, Gage and also the other guys there. I'm bad with names this time.
They're starting that class. They're trying to expand that class from Outlaws in the ITPA, which is Illinois, and here in Iowa, because I don't know if you're familiar with Stummies they used to have a twin turbo Chevy tool drive.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking the engines and they're putting them in the main engine and the spare engine. They're putting it on single modified chassis.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. Let's see. You are, but it also costs more to get into the sport going that way. Talk about the component chassis, doing it that way, but it's more of an investment early, so you don't have to make it later anyway.
Let's put it this way: as long as you stay under 1,000 horsepower, it's cheaper to go with a cast iron rear end. As soon as you go over that, you start to spend a lot of money to make cast iron stuff hold up and gears and whatever.
Yeah,
I shouldn't tell you what's on the tractor then.
And the other thing is: do you buy a chassis or do you build your chassis? I've got the feeling in America, a lot of people just go and buy for something that they could probably build themselves.
To be honest, some don't have the capability of doing that because either A, equipment, or B, just don't know how to.
Okay.
Right.
I want to go back and I'm talking about the competitors. What do you think with Hans Boxer coming over with a diesel super compared to all your Alkys tractors? What will that do? Will it spark any intrigue with the super guys to build that, or just exhibition? Find it cool.
It's exhibition, but I think he will run in the competition, and in that case, it is for the show and for having a diesel super stock in Europe again. There are some guys trying to build competitive diesels at the moment. Some of those are supposed to be out this season. See how that works out. As I said before, we had some discussions here about the black smoke, not actually from the government, but the promoters kind of got their pants full before actually something happened and tried not to book the diesels and whatever. We have this biological fuel now that came out 3 or 4 years ago. That's better than regular diesel, and it's made of biological waste, but it's taken totally apart and chemically put back together as a high performance diesel, and it's CO2 neutral. So all of a sudden, this black smoke or the diesel is not an issue anymore, and so maybe people will try do that. The other thing is we didn't allow billet blocks here, so that was something that hurt the diesels too.
Right.
I think they allowed those now. You can now run Alky with a OEM block or cast block and diesel with a billet, but I'm not 100% positive here for sure.
Yeah, a lot of over here is either billet or recast.
Yeah, for example. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was going to say the Vrens team with Neighbors Nightmare is building 1-0.
Yeah.
How do you think that will be accepted now as it being like full time, so to say?
Sure. Let's wait and see. We got so many guys who coming out of the hot farm stuff that need a different option. So maybe that as an option.
Right.
Yeah. One of our good friends, Mr. Adam Drought, he's going to be in Made this year actually. So that'll be at least one American photographer that'll be there.
Yeah, I'll try to be there. I'm not sure whether I can if I have any other jobs, because it's the problem when you make pulling your profession, then you have to go to the polls that you have to be and not the ones you want to be at. But I'm trying to make it. Yeah, my buddy Janice, who I do the show with, will be there for sure, and I guess I'm going. If I can make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, one of our
So
good buddies.
come over to the Green Monster team or whatever, or send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you you can message me and then
Yeah,
I'll buy you
go
beer.
back to building a chassis. I watched an interview of the teams building a lot of their parts and pieces themselves over there versus the States where they order a bunch of stuff. The shop was small, but they did everything for the tractor in that small shop. On top of that, it was part of the business that the guy worked for and was able to use it at night.
Mm-hmm.
Which team would he be referring to? Might not be familiar with this.
That would be for many teams.
Okay.
There's a lot of people here building tractors that work as mechanics or CNC operators or whatever, and they have the ability to build this. I mean, different to America, you are considered now a service economy. We in Germany are still a producing economy. There's a lot of high level manufacturing here for whatever, airplanes, helicopters, you name it. Especially this area here, I've got Klaas, Krone, Grimme, Amazone within 100 miles. So yeah, and
wow,
these are all names that people in the farming world probably know. Then Lemken is basically next to Anhalt next weekend. So there's a lot of people that work with that kind of stuff, and yeah, so there's no problem finding a CNC shop here or a laser shop. It's easy.
no.
And I remember when we had American pullers here, they were always like, "Wow, you can get this stuff done in town. We have to drive 100 miles to get the next shop that is able to do this."
Yeah. So, do a lot of teams go to engine builders and dyno their engines there, or is it just purely work?
Engine builders, the people who run V8s go to engine builders. The rest does their own stuff. We do have a couple of dynos here, and yeah.
Okay, because I know we are so dyno reliant here. It's hard to find a tractor anymore that's never been on a dyno.
Well, I think in the high level, it's getting that way here too. Actually, the Green Monsters have been on a dyno. That was just one engine running, but
but you can kind of go off of one and then relate it to other one or two.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to see what that looked like. I wonder if it was like a hub dyno or if it was just an actual.
There's a video on YouTube. Check for Green Monster on the dyno.
Yeah, because most of the dynos over there are hub dynos at the wheel.
Yeah.
We're still. How many are there over here? Like 2, maybe 3.
Blackburns have one.
Rowan
used to.
We got a hub dyno here that was built into a semi trailer, so you can order that thing to come to your workshop.
Portable.
Mm-hmm.
That was smart.
Yep, and it's now sponsored by Hartz Diesel. I think they even bought it. I don't know, something like that.
By Hartz Diesel? Really?
Huh. Yeah.
Wow.
I saw that name Hartz all over that dyno standing at the European Championships last year.
Yeah. Let's see. More questions. Can't wait to meet you.
Do more questions.
No, there was just one. It was just a comment. It said, "Can't wait to meet you." Whenever he's at Mod.
Yeah.
I don't want to say. I've got all the ones I've written down or the ones that are answered already.
Anybody in the chat or whatever.
Flown by the way, and I mean absolutely flown by.
Is there anything from the U.S. that you would want to adopt into pulling over there, or nothing?
Yes, there are things like the possibility to pull in different states if you want to. That's kind of impossible here. If you aren't registered in one country, you pull there unless you get invited by the other country or the promoter, which at times is even a problem because the association is in the way, especially the Dutch guys do that. So if I as a German team want
freelance.
Yeah, see, I live very close to the Dutch border, and if I want, and I have some polls that are an hour away that I can't compete at because it's just blocked off for me because I'm not in the right nationality. I have to run my national championship. But Germany is quite, compared to the rest of other countries, quite big, so and pretty mountainous in the south. There are polls there that takes me like 10 hours by truck to go. But that is, meanwhile, I would have 2 hours easy to go to that I can't go to, but I would have to go to the one down south. I hate that. And yeah, our associations kind of limit the number of events they want to have, especially here in Germany, and I'm not agreeing on that. So what we get now is more and more regional clubs that do their own events, but still a bit of, with the younger generation, it's getting better, but the old guys, if you're not with my club, then you're not. We need to get over that. I hope we will soon.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you guys couldn't just go wherever you wanted to.
No, that's also a bit different because it's different countries. That means the insurance stuff is different, and you have a nationwide coverage for your tractor, but then you go, drive 2 hours, and then you're not in your nation anymore. And then laws in insurances and liability change, and it's not that easy. It's all getting better. That's what the European Union is for. They're trying to harmonize everything, but it's a lot of work.
Dang.
Right.
So that's just that's one of the things that we look forward to, either not even necessarily during the middle of the season, but at your early hooks before the big Grand National Tour or Champions Tour gets kicked off. You never know who's going to show up where and with what.
Yeah.
That's one of the really exciting things for us here. Go ahead.
I had one thing happening, or witnessed one thing when I was over the first time. I went with Diekmans, and we were at a local Ohio pole. And there was a guy coming in, I think it was Schmiesix, with a twin Ellisons, old Chevy van, that thing on the trailer, pulled into the pits, drove around, parked the thing, had a beer, and drove off. And I was like, why do they leave? Oh, they figured out there's too many good tractors here. They go to the next pool. They have a better chance of prize money there. And that was something that blew my mind. That you have 2 pools in a weekend where you can just choose where to want to go and check where can be competitive and where not. And run, yeah.
Sounds about right for over here, doesn't it, Wyatt?
Yeah. I don't see that, honestly, over here because it's so much different.
Yeah.
I mean, you usually know who's going to be at the pole, more or less.
Yeah, but that was what happened to me in Ohio. That was not here.
Yeah,
because here that wouldn't happen.
It's Ohio. There's a whole bunch of memes and jokes about them, anyways.
I mean, there's
but they do have a lot of tractor pulls there. Holy moly,
they do.
Yeah,
they do.
What's the prize money look like over there in Europe for the pullers compared to here? You think
a lot more than here?
Nah, Eurocup, I think, in the unlimited is 2,200, 2,500. But and in Germany we had
per
Germany, yeah, and in Germany we have what we actually, the pullers get a lot of money for showing up. But you have to remember, fuel is 4 times the money as it is in the States.
True.
Right.
So our teams get more fuel compensation money than they get prize money here in the national circuit. Eurocup is different. They only run on prize money. Top 12 get money, and the 30th goes home without. National championships, I get, what is it, 90 cents for 2 miles. That's, I don't know, for 2 kilometers. Like what, 3 kilometers? Let's say $1.20 for, no, what did I say? 3 kilometers is like 2 miles, and for 3 kilometers I would get like $2.50.
But so you guys could compensate going to the polls.
It's not paying it. It's not paying for it. It's just helping you with the fuel money.
Oh yeah. So I know of.
And then there's prize money on top, but I think it's like 700 for first or something. That's nothing too fancy.
Here's your show money.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because I mean I've heard of the compensating for fuel, money down here every once in a while, but not everywhere like that. So my question to that is does that increase the cost for the promoter to put on the poll then? Or is that
he has
purely
to pay. Yes, of course, he has to pay that.
Okay.
That has led to the fact that if you want to run a poll here or promote a poll for the German Championship, less than 3,500 people in the stands, you're not breaking even.
Phew. That's unfortunate.
Dang.
But we do have enough polls that they get that many people. It's not an issue.
Right.
It's kind of how it develops, I mean, maybe our people had to think harder about how to make money with tractor pulling, or the promoters had to think harder. Maybe that's the way it developed here, the way it did. That's maybe because that's probably why we have the beer party. Afterwards.
So do you guys straight up promote polls on your TikToks and everything for where you guys are going to be the next weekend?
That's totally up to the promoters and totally up to the teams.
Okay, so they come to you guys, or the promoters will come to you guys and be like, "Hey, promote this."
No. I don't do any of that. I do my live streams. I do my web show. I'm busy with that enough. Also, and I've got my tractor, and I try to focus on that. TikTok and stuff I leave for the younger guys.
So talk to us about before we wrap this up here. Talk to us about where you're going to go this weekend with Anhalt. What can we expect to see out of there? Is this another Eurocup hook, or is this just another one of the big German?
No, Anhalt is the oldest German pole. It was established in 1978, I think. It's now run by almost the third generation there. It's not a big event, but it's, as I said, very young guys running it. They're going to have a top-level mini rod class. They're going to have Lambada there. They're going to have all the good guys, a lot of the good guys there from the Netherlands, because it's right on the Dutch border. And a lot of the Dutch guys, they have like 50, 100 miles there, and they like to go there. And the team there, the people speak Dutch language also. So they will have those. We're going to have, actually, they start the day on a Friday even with kind of a local two-wheel drive car pulling class. And then Saturday, they'll have hot farms and garden tractors until the afternoon. So all the amateur stuff, all the locals, all the kids, everybody who's the young folks. And then we have an hour break, and then in the evening we have the main session with unlimited super stocks, mini rods. I think we're going to have light modifieds. So it's going to be a good show. And you can watch live on YouTube for free. Just go to Floating Finish, and next Saturday afternoon, American time, we'll be on there with German commentary again. I'm sorry, but
you guys were trying to work on the English commentary too, weren't you?
Yes, I have not heard from Will what happened there or whatnot, and
I got you. I was sitting here clicking on my phone like repeatedly, like I thought this was an option, but I could never figure it out. But being around it long enough, you kind of get
no more comment on that.
Yeah,
I sent the stream without commentary out. I'm not sure what he did with that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that to become an option, though. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get as technical as you guys do, though.
It's not that difficult.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Sascha, thank you so much for staying up late with us. I know it's like 3 o'clock in the morning there already.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure you're
very welcome.
You're still tired.
I'm tired, and I have this week, and I've got like 4 days of tractor pulling in my bones, and
yeah. Well, all of our guys that are watching this. Yes, sir. I mean, you're welcome on anytime you want to talk polling with us. You're more than welcome.
Probably make it a little earlier for his sake.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, maybe.
One last question before we let you go, though. What is your favorite American poll to attend, and which one is on your bucket list, I guess, per se?
It depends on which ones he's attended.
Yeah.
I like Bowling Green. I've been there. And I want to go to Wisner, Nebraska.
Wisner, Nebraska. Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that you consider coming to Midwest for our nationals, though, too.
Yeah, in the winter I have more time, and then now I start to have a reason with this, and I'm starting to make money with this, so I can afford this again.
Yeah, I really hope.
But my old job, winter time was always the most busiest time, and they wouldn't let me go.
Yeah.
So now that's a different story. Now I'm super busy in the summer and got like nothing to do in the winter. So maybe time to see more indoor pools in the States.
Trust me, they're around. It seems like that it's really regionally based almost too.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us, my friend, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks for having me. You're welcome. All right. Good.
Whenever you
then.
See ya.
Do I have to shut off here now, or do you kick me out?
Why are we going to talk about anything else? We've already gone hour 15. I mean, we've got the Charlotte 4 wides that happened this past weekend.
Charlotte 4 wides, in my opinion, 4 wides still suck. That's just my opinion. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Sasha, you guys don't have drag racing over there. We have certain places here that have 4 lanes of drag racing at one time.
It is the most complicated thing to watch at one time. It is just
And I thought bracket racing was bad. When I went to Florida
last year. Bracket racing is very confusing. Don't worry.
You're just new to it. You're just new to it.
And I was just like, I get the point of it, but it's horrible to watch.
Just watch Heads Up, Pro Mod, or Top Fuel Racing.
Yeah, Pro Boost is where it's at, man. That's my favorite class.
Other than that, I don't. This weekend, I mean, we're hooking this weekend up here. We have a cancer benefit poll. It goes all of it goes to cancer research. It's a truck show, a truck drag race, a poll. There's auctions, there's vendors, there's a whole bunch of things. If you're in the area, Earlville, Iowa, Tri-State Raceway, it's where I'll be at. Other than that, 2 weeks from now, we will be, at least our team will be at the Polish Championship, Nashville, Illinois. And that'll be the same weekend as Chicago, the drag race.
Yeah. So you're going to shoot up there on Sunday.
I will not.
My
brother's graduating, so
you're gonna have to haul it back to Iowa then if that's the case.
So 6 hours one way, 6 hours back.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I don't know any other news. I'm working on somebody for the next show that is local but has one of the world's fastest street cars.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Whatever we'll call it, but we'll figure that out as we go.
Yeah, our next show should be, I think, will it be the week of TPC?
Yeah, it is. It's a week of TPC. Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll probably hit some things there and have that as well. Yeah,
the 15th, that'll be our next one. And that, I got nothing else.
Yeah, guys, make sure you share, like, and just tell your friends about this thing. And make sure, don't forget, you can go and download on all of your major podcasting platforms. And make sure you guys go watch Anholt this weekend. It's an entertaining show. I watched a little bit of it last year. Sasha, whenever you get a link made for it,
it's already on YouTube. Go to the Floating Finish channel. It's already on the live streams. It's already there. Actually, WWPTV Plus will have it too, also for free. So easy to find.
We'll drop a link for everybody on here to watch it, and trust me, guys, you're not going to be disappointed if you've never watched it. So
I think last year's show is also still there. All right.
Oh yeah. All right. Until next time, see everybody.
Good night. Bye.